I was taught growing up that money doesn't grow on trees, which is true, but what I wasn't taught is that governments and central banks can print as much as they want. And if they can print as much as they want, then why do they need us to pay taxes? Welcome to DeFi Now. I'm Josh Cross here with my DeFi dog, Steve Irwin, who insisted that this is the best place for him right now. So where does money come from? Who gets freshly printed money first? And how does it affect you? I had a hard time planning this video because it's such an important topic to understand. So I don't want to make the video too short and shallow, but I also don't want potential viewers to see the length of it and avoid it. So what I've done is made a new playlist of videos to discuss the big picture for this industry. Then I can do a broad overview here and expand on it in later videos. As you can see, my marketing department has come up with a clever name for this playlist and already added a couple of videos that fit the description. Do you want to lay down? Oop. Yeah, you slipped a bit. Now in this video, I'll briefly cover where money comes from in the modern day and what effects it has on us. Of course, it wouldn't be complete without sharing where crypto fits in the mix. If you watch this video all the way to the end, you'll have a good start and a good foundation of what a monetary system is based upon and what you can do about it. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to click that like and subscribe button or smash it if that's your style, and let's get started. All right, my legs are starting to go numb. Can you hop down? Go ahead, go ahead. Good boy, okay. Have you ever heard that money is the root of all evil? Well, I'm here to tell you that that is complete nonsense. Money isn't evil, but money isn't good either. Money is just a tool. It's a tool that amplifies intent. It's the base unit of how we communicate value to one another. It's older than written language itself because the first examples of written languages were used to record specific amounts of commodities and livestock. Since then, many things have been used as money, from seashells to glass beads onto coins made of precious metals. And now we use banknotes representing precious metals. It's kind of funny when you think about the first time somebody tried to use a paper representation of money rather than actual coins. Here, what's this? It's money. This isn't money. Yes, it is. My bank gave it to me. This is a piece of paper. This is literally monopoly money. Go get me some actual money and get your head out of your ass. No, really, you can use this to go get my gold out of the bank. Well, I'll tell you what, you go take these back to your bank, get me some coins that's actual money, and then I'll sell you my cow. Now, get out of my face. Unbelievable. I'm sure that's how that encounter took place. These banknotes initially represented gold kept in a bank vault, but even time that eroded away, and now they only represent debt. They represent a promise that this can be exchanged for goods and services. It's an IOU from the government or central bank. Now we jump ahead to present day, and we're at a point where only 3 to 8% of the money in the economy is in physical form, and the vast majority of transactions are digital. Now think about that for a second. Think about the bank runs. You see pictures of people flooding in and demanding to withdraw their deposits from the bank. Because so much money is in digital form, there's no point in a bank run. The bank has all of the money you need because the Federal Reserve has a printing press in their basement, and they can print an unlimited amount of money. Just watch the 60 Minutes interview with Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, who openly said, we can print as much as we want. Now we get to the main topic of this video. Where does our money come from and how does it affect us? If you don't understand this, then you're in a highly vulnerable position. If you've never heard of the Cantillon Effect, you're in a highly vulnerable position just like the majority of people. Either way, for your own sake, you should definitely subscribe to DeFi Now so we can remedy that. Oh, there you go. And he's back. All right, sure. You're just gonna sit like that, all awkward. I'm gonna give you a hypothetical scenario and either think about your response, or if you're the actionable type, you can leave your response in the comments below. In this hypothetical scenario, I'm gonna give you a loan. I don't actually have the money for this loan, so I'm gonna have to create it. Here, watch this. You know, I actually need you to get down so I can do this bit. Is that okay? Would you mind getting down? That's not what I meant. Okay, I'm just gonna gently tip you. There you go. Good job. Okay, watch this. Get my accounting visor. Need to have this to do accounting, I'm pretty sure. And there, I just created $10 billion. Let's say I want to lend you this money. Would you be willing to take this $10 billion loan? You're a smart person, so you might be wondering what kind of interest rate you'd get. Well, if your credit score is low, I'll give you a 12 to 30% interest rate. With great credit and some collateral, you're looking at 3 to 5%. But since you happen to be a bank, I'm going to loan it to you at a very, very low interest rate. In fact, since we're in a pandemic and an economic crisis and I want to stimulate the economy, I'm going to give you a 0% interest rate as long as you agree to loan this money out. So now you have $10 billion as a 0% interest loan, and you can take this money and loan it out to other people. If you loan it to wealthier people, you'll probably give them a 3 to 5% interest rate. If you loan it to those with fewer assets and worth credit, you're going to go with the higher end of the spectrum. You see, this way, I didn't give you any free money. I gave you a cheap loan. But now you're getting interest payments on the loans you gave out with it. You didn't do anything productive to get this money. You didn't innovate, you didn't produce a good, and you didn't push humanity forward. All you did is accept cheap money and loan it out for a profit. I think it's hard for people to take me seriously when I'm wearing that. On the most basic level, this is how money is created. The Federal Reserve doesn't technically give the money away, it loans it to the government or other banks. They used to call this quantitative easing or other whatever terms they're going to use, but now they openly call it money printing, but it's the same thing. No one in their right mind truly believes this money will be paid back. As long as the government can keep up with the interest payments, there won't be a problem. They can just keep borrowing and borrowing. This is what modern monetary theory is, the theory that banks can print their way out of any economic downturn. So where does the Cantillon Effect that I mentioned earlier come into play? I'm so glad you asked. Let's say there are 10 of us in the economy. Each of us have $10, so there's $100 total. We can trade with it, and those who produce valuable goods and offer valuable services will earn a larger share of that $100. But unfortunately for the 9 of you, I'm the one keeping track of how much everyone has, and with this software that I've got, I can change it. Here, check this out. There. I just created $20 for myself. Now there's $120 in the economy. I didn't technically steal from you, as you all have the same amount of money, although I could easily change how much you have, but since there's more money in the economy and the same amount of goods and services, the money you have doesn't go as far. I'm going to use my money to buy more things, which will drive up prices, so your money has less purchasing power. If I print $10 billion and I add it to the existing US money supply, which jumped by $1 trillion to just over 17 trillion in April, that 10 billion won't make a noticeable difference, but over time, I'll continuously print more money and loan it out at low interest rates to people who are likely to pay it back, those who have a lot of money and assets already, while those who are less creditworthy won't get any of it and are only encouraged to save what little they have. A penny saved is a penny earned, but it's still just a penny. And through this money printing process, their savings are devalued over time. As I said in my earlier video, Why We Need Bitcoin, the US dollar has lost 85% of its purchasing power since 1971 when we went off the gold standard. This is the Cantillon Effect. Those who are closest to the money printer get cheap money that they can put to work buying stocks, real estate, or other assets that will bring them even more money, while those who are far from the printer lose their purchasing power. The best way to think of the Cantillon Effect is the opposite of Robin Hood. It's stealing from the poor to give to the rich, which is a big part of why we have such a huge wealth gap. And when wealth inequality comes up in conversation, you still hear politicians go on and on about taxes, how we need to tax corporations and the wealthy more. Taxes hit the middle and upper middle class more than anyone else. Corporations and the ultra wealthy pay little to no taxes, because if we change our tax laws here in the US to tax them more, they're just going to move abroad and still do their business here, like Amazon. And the poor people in the US have social programs to assist them that don't apply to the middle class. Sure, those programs are inadequate, but they're there. But you don't hear politicians mention the Cantillon Effect. So if they can just print money anyway and taxes disproportionately affect the middle class, why are we even paying taxes at all? Why don't governments just print the money they need and be done with it? This leads us into our last segment in the video. I want to keep this last segment shorter since I kind of went on and on in the last one. There are two main reasons why I think governments need to collect taxes for their budgets rather than money printing. And the first is that if the US government could directly print money, it would be far too easy for them to abuse the power even more than what's happening now. They would use the power to fulfill every campaign promise on a whim. Trump's wall would already be built. Bush's $1 trillion Iraq war would have cost multiple times more. And Obama's White House garden would be visible from space. The second reason is because of the law of supply and demand. With the increasing supply of US dollars, there must be a demand for it. Otherwise, they would devalue far faster. So when we pay taxes, we can't pay the IRS in euros, we can't pay it in gold, and we certainly can't pay it in Bitcoin. We have to pay it in the US dollars, and we need to have US dollars to do so. In 2019, the federal government collected nearly 3.5 trillion in taxes. And this, along with over 11 trillion of foreign debt debt that is denominated in dollars adds to the demand of dollar and helps it maintain its status as the world reserve currency despite this wild money printing. And this is where Bitcoin comes in. As a decentralized currency, no one has the power to raise the inflation rate, and that inflation rate goes down over time. For money to be sound, it must be costly to produce. This is called hard money. If money is easy to produce, the temptation to add to the supply will devalue the wealth of anybody saving it and destroy the incentive to use it as savings. All government or fiat currencies of the world are easy money. They can be inflated on the slightest whim. This is why we have to separate state and money, and it wasn't possible until Bitcoin was invented, making it one of the most important innovations in modern history. With that said, we're gonna bring this video to a close. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. If you appreciate the information in this video, go ahead and hit the like and share it to help those you care about understand this better while helping the channel grow. I've got big things planned for this channel over the next several weeks, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next week.